I have a lot of questions. The first thing that I was so
First,
curious about is, are you the person in your own life that's sort of the voice of wisdom and the house that everyone goes to when they need a little bit of like fun and emotional support?
huh. I think there's a good chance I'm not that now that you say that out loud. Yeah, I think that probably is. I have a sister. I do have a sister that is maybe that. I don't know. I was raised. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure I am that to be honest.
Hmm.
I might be more of the sort of cold, calculated. I don't know. We could ask. Let's see if she believes Mimi's here. Mimi, do you think that I'm the person you could look to for guidance and support?
I think she's saying yes.
She is saying yes.
Yeah, I think she's
Um,
saying yes.
yeah, I hope I am. It's nice. I've been chosen to be in Heather Graham's chosen family now twice. This is my second movie with her, so this is it's nice to get chosen two times at least for that. So I feel like I'm in the literal and fictional chosen family of that, I
Yeah,
suppose.
well, let's talk about that. I mean, what is it like when she's written it, she's directing it, she's producing it, she's starring. I mean, it's clearly very close to her, and
Mhm.
you come on board. I mean, that does that feel like maybe some responsibility, or I mean, what is that like?
To me, uh, it was fun because it's nice to get to do a second movie with somebody because I was able to know going into it like, oh, this will be a very fun working environment. It'll just be like, sometimes it takes a while to figure out on a movie like how is this going to go,
Mhm.
And with Heather, she's just, she's genuinely a super funny person herself and is also just a very, supportive, is a big comedy fan, and so like the first time I ever met her, I just auditioned for her.
Mm.
And, sometimes you audition for someone and you just get like nothing back. Also these days, you almost never even audition for anyone in person. So, but for Heather's first movie, I auditioned for her in person. And, um, and she actually like laughed during my audition, which is like something that hadn't happened in like memory. I was like, who's the last person who like laughed during an audition? It had been a while, just because it's not the way people really behave in auditions all the time. They just sort of like get very like, okay, well, great, okay, please do this. That's great. Thank you. You've done the thing. And now, but she's a, very effusive person and she is not afraid to, you know, show her enthusiasm. So it's fun. I feel like she and I have a lot of overlap of just like the enthusiasm about making movies, even like small movies and making, just like let's make this scene really funny and let's, it's just like sort of like there's a lot of joie de vivre in a movie like this. And that comes from her and her natural enthusiasm. That's just it's sort of contagious and fun to be around.
Did you go full method acting with the chef and the cooking, or?
Not only did I not go full method act, well, that's not true. There is the one other skill that I use in the film that you get to see me use is I'm a spectacular napkin folder. I was a busboy very early in my career for a while. So I can really fold a napkin like pretty much like nobody you've ever met. Like it's gonna be really good, you know. It might have been part of why I got to play the fifth Felix Unger also was
Oh
my
my God.
spectacular, my napkinry skills, which they're very high. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. If you're coming at me and you think you're gonna fold a napkin better than me, you might go home. You might go home disappointed.
Own it, brag about it. We love it. So to go back, I mean, as somebody who obviously you've done a lot of comedy, when you're on smaller films, I'm assuming that gives you like a little bit more space to play and or maybe there's like less pressure of like the high budget, so you're able to really like build connections and sort of tear through the material differently. Do you think that that's true? Or I mean, how does that?
To, to me, one of my favorite things about, and this takes a little while into your career to kind of to figure this out a little bit as an actor, but surely on like some early movies that I was on when they were big and very expensive and big budgets, you would sometimes not improvise and try things out just because the stress of like, this is so expensive, this is so big, it's like there's so much going on. And sometimes in production, big productions, like the performance is like sort of the second to last thing they think about, because there's so much time lighting and so much time setting up things that getting to the actual scene can sometimes be not quite an afterthought, but almost. But to me, I think the niche that I've tried to carve out a little bit is being trying to at least appear to be fearless in movies big and small. So I think if you see me trying things out in a movie like this, which is a very modest budgeted film. But then weirdly in Transformers Age of Extinction, half of what I say is improvised in that,
Yeah.
which was interesting because that's, like Michael Bay, who you wouldn't think is going to be like a super supportive comedy director necessarily, but actually is, which is interesting. So it's to me, it's like just bring the thing that you do. The scale doesn't really matter of the movie, like bring the thing that you do to it. Um, and that's what I'm hopefully trying to sort of carve out for whatever.
Other than obviously encouraging people to watch the movie and supporting Heather in her vision, and your napkin folding skills, what parting thoughts do you have for us today?
I would say, please go enjoy this movie. It's fun to see. You get beautiful shots of Providence, Rhode Island. You get me in a whole bunch of fun, different kinds of shirts. You get Heather Graham, the hilarious Andrea Savage, Odessa Ray, who's in it. The kid who's in it is spectacularly funny. It's a great dance-off sequence between Heather Graham and a child, which is not a scene you feel like you could put in a lot of movies, but it works really well. It probably is my favorite scene in the picture. And what else? Oh, and if you go see it, it's a little bit like Megalopolis. Like I will be at some screenings talking to the movie, depending on where you are. You know, obviously we probably can't have it at everyone, but I'll be at many of them talking to myself on the screen.
Well,
Not this is not approved by any of the movie theaters, by the way, or actually Heather or the producers of the film. But I might just go do that just because it's good for me to get out of the house.
yeah. Well, if you want to make your way down to Houston, I'd love to have you. I loved the movie and I love the mustache. I don't know. Is that a personal decision or are you working on
It's always work related. It's always work related.
Thank you, Thomas. I
A
appreciate your
pleasure.
so much.
Thank you.